Hello and welcome to the Post to Post podcast, live from Studio A, the production studio.
Studio A. Looks different.
It does look different. We'll tell you why in a second. This is Season 5, Episode 7 for June 13th, 2021. I'm Jason. That's Neil.
Hello.
All right, so last night was intense. Why do you always got to start the podcast with these intense things?
Okay.
I say, hi, that's Neil. He's like, sup, or hello.
What are you going to talk about first?
Okay, if you're listening to this podcast...
Because I can't go any further.
On the audio version, you don't know what's up. But people on YouTube, if you're on a phone, you might not be able to see it. But if you're on your computer or a TV or something, something ain't right.
Something is definitely not right.
So Neil, in his great artistic skills,
it's so good.
decided to go out and buy some face markers.
Some face paint. Crayons, I guess.
Yeah, they're like crayon marker face paint. And he decided to draw a Montreal Canadiens, or attempt to draw a Montreal Canadiens logo on my face.
You lost a bet.
I lost a bet.
You bet that, or we bet that if the Montreal Canadiens beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, that
I would wear a face tattoo.
I think you would get your face
and then somehow that got changed into face paint.
Yeah, which is better.
Sure. I guess.
And we forgot last weekend, so I apologize for that. And here it is.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, you've got to deal with this for however long this podcast ends up being.
Yeah, and if you're an audio listener and you haven't watched the YouTube version or the video version of this podcast, I highly recommend that you make this your first one, because you're going to see a Boston Bruins fan in all Boston merch wearing Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah. I don't know if it shows up real well or not. Hopefully it does. But
yeah, it's noticeable.
It looks like something ain't right.
Definitely.
That's where I'm at. So why are we in this studio? So last night, kind of had a rough night with my little guy. We didn't get any sleep. I'm running on fumes, so I don't know how this podcast is going to go. I know we say that a lot, but
we'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
It's also really hot in here.
So I had to drop my little guy off at my parents' house, who are looking after him for the next few hours. And it just so happens that my parents literally live 30 seconds from Neil's house. So I was like, well, why don't we just save some time? And while I drop him off, we can just come shoot it in the production studio. So we're going to go with it.
Yeah. So you're going to actually see a part of my room that you've never really seen.
Yeah, we got some Greta Van Fleet and
some records.
LPs up there.
Yeah, I got the Interstellar record in the background.
That's what I say. There. This is like the one, maybe this wall here is the only other wall I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And the little cubby back there. But you're just seeing more and more all the time, I guess.
Yeah, and I can see the random table over there with a bunch of completely random stuff on it. But yeah, so I am going to do a room tour, actually. I've already started to film it, so.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, by the way, I'm wearing Boston because I feel like it's bad karma for me to make that bet with you and then you lose and
Heck yeah.
put it on there. So I wanted to even out the karma, so I decided to wear Boston to offset it.
Right on. Double Boston with Montreal on my face. Hope my dad doesn't see this. It'd be real bad. He'll disown me.
I'll send it to him.
Okay, so we've gone a few days without hockey now.
Yeah, there's no hockey Friday. There's no hockey Saturday.
No hockey today?
Oh, there's hockey today.
Oh, okay. I got that wrong. I thought it was tomorrow we started back up.
The Montreal game starts tomorrow. The game that's happening today is on in.
By the way, we're also doing this late because, like I said...
In 40 minutes.
Wow. Well,
it starts at 4 p.m.
We're going to miss part of the start of that then.
Yep, sure.
Probably. Anyway, unless this goes really quick. So, yeah, we're gonna get through this.
There's lots to talk about, but there's almost not at the same time.
Yeah. It's kind of good in a way because, like I said, this has been... I mean, yesterday was okay. The little guy was kind of agitated and it was like stiff, and I was like, what's up with that? But then he's doing that again this morning, didn't sleep well. So, kind of running on fumes here. So, anyways, speaking of Montreal Canadiens, let's just jump right in. Talk about some playoff news. So, we're on to the next round. Let's recap a little bit of some thoughts of the outgoing rounds and the teams that are no longer with us. So we'll start with Canadiens sweeping the Jets.
You surprised?
Super surprised. I'm not surprised Montreal won.
Okay, that's what I agree with as well. And I said that in my series preview. I'm like, I'm not going to be shocked if Montreal wins.
Yep.
But I'm blown away that it was a sweep.
Yep.
And it wasn't like Montreal played good. Don't get me wrong. They played very good. But Winnipeg didn't show up through a lot of that series.
Yep.
And I think a lot of I don't really want to say blame, but it wasn't just Montreal playing good. It was also Winnipeg playing bad.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And
crazy.
I mean, obviously Scheifele was out. They had a couple injuries, but I mean, I think going into game 4, especially, I think a lot of people thought it was over. Like,
I felt good.
Yeah. Which is weird for you.
Yeah. Like I am obviously an extremely critical Montreal Canadiens fan. And I felt good. Even when the series started, I felt good.
Yep.
It's probably because I already felt like they got their victory.
Yep.
Defeating Toronto. So whatever happens, happens. But I still felt confident. Like I actually felt like they were going to win, especially when that first game started. And then they beat Winnipeg, and now they're going into play Vegas, and I don't feel confident that they're going to win.
Yeah.
But I feel good about their season.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens, there's a really good growth season. And they made it further than so many teams that, like,
Yeah.
the Montreal Canadiens made it further than the Colorado Avalanche. Like, what kind of world do we live in? And the Boston Bruins, like, what's going on?
Yep.
So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with that.
Totally. On TSN Overdrive, they did a confirm or deny, which is a segment where they make a statement and they confirm that it will either happen or they deny that it will happen.
Okay.
And the confirm or deny was that Montreal will take it to at least 6 games, and every single one of them confirmed it.
Wow.
They're all Toronto guys.
Very interesting.
So none of them thought they were going to win, but they thought it was going to go at least 6 games. Which I don't know. I consider that a victory for Montreal if it goes 6 games.
Vegas is good, obviously.
Yep.
But I do think that Montreal matches up pretty well with Vegas.
Sure.
I'm worried about Fleury because he can do crazy things in the playoffs.
Yep. It's going to be a goalie duel.
I think the Montreal could push it to 6. I really do.
Okay, so you have a video about the series.
Or recapping.
Recap, yep. And I believe your dad did one too?
He also did one, yeah.
Okay, so is there anything you want to say that you haven't really mentioned in those? Because there's probably like 20-some minutes of content there between the two.
Yeah, no,
of you.
not really.
I don't have any comments on it either, so.
Just looking forward to the next series.
Yeah. All right. So here I have after the recap on the notes, I put some talk, just some points.
Sure.
So I have, whenever we talk about a series, we're going to do the recap, and then we're going to have a couple notes about either one team or both teams. Some of them I don't have anything. Like, usually the teams that are eliminated we're going to talk about because there's questions.
Right.
The team's moving on. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So Montreal Canadiens talk. Eric Engels of Sportsnet is reporting that sources have informed him that Jeff Molson, the owner of the Canadiens, has offered a lucrative 3-year contract extension to your boy.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Bergevin.
If Montreal had lost in the first round, I think there would have been conversations about him.
But isn't that funny how if you go out in the first round, you're done, but you make it to the second round and
results?
Now you're getting a 3-year deal that's worth cha-ching.
He's on I can't remember if it's year 8 or year 9 of his plan.
It's 8 or 9 for sure.
Yeah.
I know 8 came up, but I don't know if this is the 8th year or he's had 8 years and this year.
Yeah, you want to do it in 5. We're on year 8.
And it's funny because they were talking about how he built this team to succeed in the playoffs because it's a different style of hockey.
Yes.
And it's doing that so far. We'll see when they're out of the North Division. Mm-hmm. But you also have to get to the playoffs. And if this was a regular year, he wouldn't have made it to the playoffs.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, I understand that playoff hockey is different. And you're right. They are built to play in the playoffs. They just have that wear you down type of style of hockey. And it works. Like, it really does work. Defense is boring, but it works.
Yep.
But, man, you got to get to the playoffs. And you need to look at least somewhat promising.
Yeah.
And not that Montreal just simply didn't this year. And that was with, obviously, Carey Price being hurt. But Jake Allen played well this year. It's not like, you can blame the backup goalie.
Jake Allen helped them get this way.
He was one of their best players the entire year.
I agree.
Obviously, there's still lots of question marks for me moving forward, and I am slightly disappointed by this news. But
I figured you might be.
I want to give my final opinion after this round.
Okay. I also have that the Montreal has made a request to the Department of Health in Quebec to increase their in-arena fan attendance. Because Vegas, full barn, coming back to Montreal, what is it, 2,500 or 5,000? 2,500.
It's not the Canadiens' fault, but it's going to play an impact, I think.
100%. There's no way it can't.
It's going to go against Montreal.
There's no way it can't. I couldn't agree more with that statement.
I'm disappointed. I would almost rather them play all of the games in Vegas.
Yeah.
And just
deal with it.
Just deal with it, yeah.
So
honestly.
The Quebec government said they are going to analyze it. They're looking at it. I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me, so I think it'd be way later into the week before this even becomes a thing. Like, would be Thursday, Friday, or whatever. So I don't know. I could see them doubling it to 5,000.
Yeah, I think it actually.
You're not getting a full barn out of it,
no,
but sure, I could see. I mean, if you were 2,500 before everyone else, and Quebec kind of does its own thing anyway, and it's separate from the rest of the country, I could see them doubling it.
And what they could consider doing is removing all of those fabric panelings along the bottom row, and just removing those and allowing fans to come down further, which would allow more separation throughout everything.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you might be able to get up to $5,000 or 7,500 fans or something, and that could make a difference.
I wonder if they could do like 5,000. Prove you've got vaccinations.
Yeah, you go through the process and make it, let people in who have at least one of the vaccines or hopefully 2.
That could be incentive for people to get it that haven't got it too.
That's huge incentive. Did you see what Alberta's doing?
No.
I only read the headline, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. But apparently they're giving away like lottery money, like
really?
$1 million to $3 million to
Alberta has a different type of people out there.
It's true.
It's conservative base, so I could see them being more hesitant.
Yeah, there's definitely some more anti-vaxxers out there than here.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope they can get a little bit more in there. Like even with the 2,500, I found made a big difference.
It did,
but that's compared to nothing. Like when you compare that to the Vegas barn, like it's
and Vegas is crazy.
Yes.
Like that's one of the loudest buildings in the NHL. I can tell you from experience in a playoff game. I've been there. It is absolutely nuts there. And I even if Montreal was at full tilt with all their fans in there, I still think, no offense to Montreal fans, I still think Vegas would be louder.
Yeah.
That arena. It's just that they're jacked.
Yeah.
So
okay. So we'll see.
All right.
We'll see how. I mean, we'll get into some predictions at the end of the podcast. How about that?
Okay.
But good. We'll just see where Montreal goes from there. So on the Winnipeg talk, the first thing we're going to talk about was Mark Scheifele.
Yeah.
Because he had a post game interview or exit interview to the media, and I found he was kind of defiant in it. And I want to play it. Can we play it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we're going to play the clip for you, and after we watch it together, we'll come back and talk about it.
The decision by the NHL, I know that you felt it was a clean hit. I know you didn't agree with their decision. They were clearly trying to send a message. I'm wondering what message you felt that was and how you would play that play differently based on the message that they've sent to you and maybe to all the players in the league going forward.
Obviously, I had, my chance to speak. In the hearing, I don't know how much was actually absorbed by them. It's a hard one. I think at the end of the day, you regret the outcome of it. I said that over and over. You never want to see a guy hurt, and I'm a guy that that respects this game and respects players, and I never want to see a guy hurt no matter what it is. I was trying to negate a goal. I'm coming back on the back check to prevent a goal and go back the other way. I'm out there to score goals. I'm not out there to hit guys. I'm out there to try to prevent a goal and try to win the game. I would have loved, an answer from them of what would have been a better thing to do. Cause I've replayed the thing over and over in my mind. And the only real thing is if I gave up on my teammates, on that play and just didn't back check, it's over and done with. I'm not going to continue to cry over it, but, it's the decision they made. I still believe it was excessive. I still believe it wasn't, they knocked me out of the series. I don't even get a chance to play with my teammates and battle with my teammates in the series. For a guy with a clean record, I can't let one bad thing, knock me down. Obviously it's crushing to, that my season was ended, by that. And I wasn't able to play in this series. I thought I was going to be tried to shut down by Philip Deneau, and, it was Department of Player Safety that shut me down. So that definitely sucks. I'm a very, very positive person. I'm a very, very happy person. And that definitely took away from a lot of my happiness and took away from my joy of, this beautiful game. You guys, the media, had us not making the playoffs, being a bottom feeder in the league. So, that's where, you guys get caught, contradicting your guys' selves all the time. So, you guys didn't have any hope for this team, from day one. And I think we proved you guys wrong all season long. We made the playoffs. We swept the Edmonton Oilers. We went to the second round in the playoffs. Obviously didn't end the way we wanted to. That's about it. We were written off from day one, and we proved people wrong all season long. And we go through that slide, towards the end of the year, and we were written off again. Everyone wanted a Calgary Flames Edmonton Oilers series, and we proved people wrong. We made the playoffs. We won our first round, and I think that's where my head's at, is that, we prove people wrong, and we want to continue to prove people wrong. We don't get a lot of respect in the grand scheme of things. Everyone wants the, Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers, and the Montreal Canadiens to be going on. No one wants the Winnipeg Jets to do anything.
What do you think about that?
Let's break it down.
So I wrote a couple down of notes in order of him talking. So
general impression is I'm frustrated.
Okay, so the first comment he made, or one of the first comments he made, he said, "I'm not sure how much was absorbed by them."
That feels like almost something you shouldn't say.
Like he was asked like what's going to be taken away from your experience or what they were looking for in the Department of Player Safety, and he said, "Well, I'm not really sure how much was absorbed by them." So it's not about them; it's about you. You're the one that got the discipline.
Exactly.
So I think he's not understanding what happened here.
Bruce Cassidy got fined.
Yes.
For being critical of the referees.
Yep.
Is that not similar? Him being critical of Department of Player Safety after a suspension?
I'm sure. And he even mentioned in one of the clips, which I did not include, is he says, "I'm going to stop there before I get fined." And then later on, he starts off with some of that rest of that other stuff. So he obviously doesn't. Okay. He also says that he was trying to negate a goal, which we have shown that he was not.
Correct.
He did not try to play the puck.
Correct.
He says, "I wish I would have got an answer for a better thing to do from player safety when they told him we would have liked to see you make an attempt for the puck."
That's what really
so again
me. Like they literally told him what they could.
It's not sinking in for why he got the suspension.
It's frustrating because he has zero accountability for his actions.
Totally.
And honestly, I lost a lot, if not all, respect for Mark Scheifele.
It's like he's in a bubble.
Honestly, it's like I don't understand it. Like
it's like
even if you think you're wrong, man, just shut up and just take accountability.
I don't think he thinks he's wrong. It took away from his joy, his happiness of this great game.
He's not the victim.
No, he's not.
He's not the victim.
That's right. The victim is the guy that's still not playing for Montreal. He might be back later, but not right now. And then at the end, he calls out the media saying that they had written them off and how they were wrong and how everyone wants a Toronto, Montreal, Calgary to go on and nobody's cheering for the Jets. Like, where did that come from?
Bottom feeder? What are you talking about, Mark Scheifele? I've never seen one reporter.
I thought the Jets were slated as second on almost everyone's things for the North Division predictions.
I had them second in the North Division, I think, or third, something like that. Definitely had them making it. I don't know what he's talking about. I've never seen anyone's predictions prior to the season starting, having them at the bottom.
Yeah. So I know that clip was a little long, but I wanted. He said so much that I just wanted to get it out. And in the past, we've just read quotes, and I think it's just better if you just hear it from the player himself, and you can make your own judgment.
Really, really disappointing. I still forgive him for making the hit, but
I didn't think we were going to talk about him again after we had that last podcast. I thought we had 2 videos. You had 2 videos on it.
Yep.
We had the podcast on it. That's like 30-some minutes of talking about Mark Scheifele in this hit.
Yeah,
and here we are again because he just won't let it go. Like obviously he's disappointed because. And he's going to miss the first game of the next season because he still has 1 game left on suspension.
That's true. So
he will not be with his team for the opener.
I don't know.
All right, so let's just leave Mark Scheifele
alone. I want to talk about it more, but I don't. I think
we should be done with it.
I don't want to give him any more attention.
That's right. We played the clip for you. You guys can have your own opinion. We have ours. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about other things about Winnipeg Jets points. So both the GM, Kevin Sheldayoff, and Paul Maurice praised the job the coaching staff did with the Jets this year and suggest that it also suggests that the current staff will be carrying over next year. So if you have questions about whether there's going to be a shakeup with the coach, doesn't sound like it.
I expected that to happen.
The players love playing for Paul Maurice.
Yeah.
So
he's a good dude. So I wasn't thinking he was going to go anywhere.
Both of them also said that the Winnipeg has been really thin on the blue line for the last 2 years, which is totally true. 100%. That's something that needs to be addressed, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Kevin Sheldayoff, the GM, also emphasized that a trip to the second round represents progress after having consecutive early exits from the playoffs. So they've always gone out in the first round. They made it a little bit further. He said it's progress, but he also said it's ultimately not where we need to go, so they have to keep improving. But he said in terms of whether you look at this as a positive or negative black and white season, he says it's positive.
I would say it is positive. I mean, they made it to the conference finals against Vegas, and then they, like you said, they went out twice in the first round.
Must have been. I don't know. And he just says early exits.
And then the second round this year, like it is, I don't know if I'd use the word progress, but you haven't missed the playoffs in quite a while.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
And I mean, you swept Edmonton, so I mean.
Yeah, there's lots of positivity you could take from that. And obviously there needs changes. There's changes that need to be made.
Yeah.
But I don't think drastic ones or crazy ones. I think the core is right. I think the coaching staff is right. But like you said, thin on the blue line. So there are definitely opportunities for the team to improve. And I think they will.
Totally.
They're on the right path.
Do you think they'll try to make a big splash?
No, I don't think so.
Neither do I.
And that whole Line A trade in that situation, like Pierre-Luc Dubois, that's just messy for everyone.
It is. It's not looking good for either team right now.
I think Roslovic was the best player.
Yeah.
In that trade, it turns out to be.
Yeah,
so,
that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think they'll be a cup contender next year?
With that team, yeah, I do. I don't. They're not. They won't be at the top of my list.
Yeah,
but I think they could have contended for a cup this year.
Yeah, I would say they're definitely a playoff bound team.
Yeah, no matter.
And I
what
expect them to
happens.
make decent progress. I don't know if they're going to win the whole thing, obviously, but
Yeah,
no, I think they still have a pretty good team.
I'm having a real hard time keeping a straight face looking at you.
Thanks. At least I don't have to look at it. That's the positive of me doing it.
Yeah.
If you had this on your face, I'd probably be losing this and we'd be cutting this like crazy.
Every time I look at you, I get
I'm trying to have a serious conversation over here, and all I got is a stupid face paint on my face. Okay, so let's jump into Tampa Bay and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Are you disappointed?
No, not really. I would have liked to see Carolina go on, but I kind of knew.
How do you feel about repeat winners? Like if hypothetically,
I don't like
Tampa
repeat
wins.
winners.
I didn't think so. I think most people don't.
And this is a very bad thing to say.
Okay.
The main reason I don't like Tampa is because I don't really care for Tampa's fans.
Oh,
I find them really arrogant.
I find that they are.
Now, they're not all like that, but
no.
there's a few bad apples that are just so arrogant that it just rubs you the wrong way and it puts a whole vibe in the whole organization for me, which isn't fair because they have a great team. They've got good players. There's a lot of good Canadian players on that team.
Yep. They definitely. I know
They've done everything right.
some of their fans are that I know are very biased and very,
Totally.
very difficult to have a level-headed conversation with logically.
And they blame the refs every time they don't win.
I don't think there's any conversations with any fans from any other teams that have blamed the refs. I mean, personally, conversations that I've had that have blamed the refs more than some Tampa Bay Lightning fans that I've talked to, and they're not all wrong. Like
They're
sometimes
totally not
they're
wrong.
definitely right,
Yep.
but most
Especially
of
in
the
the
time,
Florida series, they were right.
they were right. I agree,
We even called that out.
but I'd say most of the time their opinions are biased.
Totally. I mean, most players' opinions are biased, but these guys just take it to one step above everyone else.
It's kind of the same reason that people don't like the Toronto Maple Leafs. People don't like the Toronto Maple Leafs, not because of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's because the media focuses everything on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And it's not just that, you're right, but also their fans. Like
True.
the Toronto Maple Leafs fans are also incredibly biased, and
Yeah. And there's also an incredibly amount of them.
yes,
Like
there's a lot.
we said, they advertise to the biggest market. That's why Toronto gets the coverage it does. So we can complain about it all we want. Doesn't matter. We're the small people on the outside.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Like as a Toronto fan, you just when Toronto wins, that place is going to go nuts. Like
There's
no
gonna be-
place has gone before. They haven't won in there's barely anyone alive right now that was alive last time.
54 years, I believe.
Yeah. So
there's
67, wasn't it?
20 or 21 days from now, they will officially hold the longest streak for an NHL team that has not won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. So I mean, that place, if they went to the second round, there will almost be a parade for the second round.
Yeah, and
So when Toronto wins, that place is going to explode. But when they do bad, of course the people on the outside are going to pile on because, like I said, you get so much attention that way. And I said last podcast, I'm not going to pile on the Toronto fans anymore because I legitimately feel bad for them, and that's 100% true. I'm going to try to be nice to them.
do you know the longest streak in any professional sports?
Of
the top
failure
four?
or success?
Yeah, of not having in between championships.
Is it soccer?
No, of the top four, not soccer.
Okay.
I guess soccer's technically more popular than hockey now, but still,
There's probably a really bad soccer team that's never won.
that's it's in baseball, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you know who it is or?
They have it's the Cubs. I think it's 104 years or 108 years or something ridiculous. It's twice as long as the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think it's the Cubs.
Didn't the Cubs just win or something?
I don't remember. I don't
know. Someone just won that had won in a long time. I can't remember who it was.
Well, the Boston Red Sox did it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Red Sox. I'm trying to think. Was it a New York team? I can't remember. I don't follow baseball, so I don't. But I know some team in baseball won, which hasn't won in a long time. You can let us know in the comments, but we don't really care that much because we just don't. This is a hockey channel. This is a post podcast, not the post to post in the field.
Exactly, not base to base.
Yeah, not base to base, not bake to bake. So.
Yeah. Okay.
These are your notes here for the first person. You may as well just go over them. So
I thought Vasilevsky was amazing.
Obviously,
you could say 1,000 good things about Stamkos,
Yep.
and Kucherov, and Hedman, and
Yep.
Point, and the whole lineup, even the depth guys like Killorn.
Yep.
What an amazing depth player. But Vasilevsky, he doesn't get enough praise, and it makes me angry. Because not only do you have the team in front of you, but you've got him in net.
They've got everything. And we're going to get into a comment here after in a second.
Yeah, but I just want to say how outstanding I thought he was. But on the other side of the coin, I also thought Nedeljkovic and Mrazek played very
100%.
well that season, even though they lost.
I agree.
I thought they played very well. Tampa just had too many weapons, I think, in my opinion. They just... Carolina has lots of weapons too, but it's just endless. Like they just have so much depth in Tampa.
I want to ask you a question.
Yep.
This is kind of off topic a little bit, but not really. Now, this is the second round, so technically the matchups aren't supposed to be fair. They're supposed to be an advantage with the top team and the bottom team a little bit. Not as bad as the first round.
Yep.
I think this round, most of the game matchups were extremely close. Like you had 1 and 2, Vegas and Colorado. Tampa and New York, or Tampa and these guys could have gone either way.
Yep.
Boston Islanders could have gone either way. And technically Montreal Winnipeg could have gone either way.
If you look at potential Stanley Cup matchups, ignore the conferences, ignore the divisions, and just look at individual teams, and you think about, well, what's a plausible matchup at the end of the year?
Yep.
Boston Islanders would have been a plausible matchup.
Sure.
Carolina Tampa would have been.
Sure.
Colorado versus Vegas, 100%.
Yeah, Montreal Winnipeg. Probably not.
No,
but I mean, for a second round, those are crazy matchups.
That's like it's almost disappointing because we got to lose one of those teams.
Yeah.
Like Vegas, Colorado.
We're gonna get into that.
Colorado was gone.
We're gonna get into that, but it's
a travesty. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Carolina also just couldn't keep the lead. Like they went up in that game. I think it was 4-2 maybe, and then Tampa just went boom, 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 came back and won that game. To me, that was a bit of a turning point in that series. But
so now Tampa goes on to play the Islanders again
for the second straight year. Conference finals, right?
We'll get into that in a second, but Islanders have some retribution. They probably want to pay back here. So they're going to be ready for that. All right. So let's talk about some Carolina stuff. First, I want to talk about Dougie Hamilton. We got to talk about his comments. I'm not going to play them on here. We got some other comments we're going to play, but
they're interesting.
He took a shot at Tampa Bay saying that they were basically circumventing the cap by having $18 million of players in addition to what the cap allows, by having some players Kucherov on long-term injured reserve for the entire season, and then magically bringing him back just in time for the playoffs when he's playing like He-Man out there and he's leading the playoffs in points.
He is, yes. How do you feel about that?
When I first read it, I didn't like it. Not from Dougie Hamilton. I didn't like it from Tampa's point of view. Yeah. So I'm like, that's pretty dirty. Like what are the chances that this guy's actually hurt, comes back day one playoffs, and is absolutely on fire?
Yeah.
But that just happens to be what happened. And there's a huge vetting process. Like, the league is involved. They have to investigate the medical records. They make sure everything's on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
What some people may not know about this is, as soon as that last game of the regular season is played, the salary cap is gone. It doesn't matter how much is on your books.
Exactly.
If you've got $200 million in players and somehow you can legally bring them all back, you can have a $200 million player in the playoffs, or a team in the playoffs.
I'm very conflicted, because one part of me wants to be like, that's the rules.
Other teams do it.
That's the rules. Tampa just played by the rules. They didn't do anything.
100%.
They technically didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
And it's that's on the other teams for not doing the same thing. Or obviously it's a very difficult thing to do successfully.
Yeah.
But the other side's like, come on, guys. Like, really? Like,
that's the side I was on at first, and I think I'm leaning more towards your first side now, because
it doesn't anger me.
They technically did not do anything wrong.
Yep.
Other teams do it. The stars aligned for this to work out the way it did. And Tampa has an amazing team that they didn't necessarily need him for the regular season.
Right.
But he just takes them to the next level when he gets here.
Yeah. We can't be mad at them for being smart.
No.
Like, that's just how it has to be.
Like, it's just the timing is just so coincidental, I guess. Like, I'm not calling flub, but like, who's not to say that Kucherov could have been ready 2 or 3 weeks before the season was over? It's like, hey, we can't bring him back because his cap is too high.
Yes,
you got to wait,
exactly.
Keep practicing, and then bam, he's just beast mode. I think that happened. I really do.
I agree, but I think, like you said, the stars just kind of aligned in a way.
And that's what Julian Brisebois, the GM, said.
Oh, that's what he actually said.
Sometimes the stars align. That is a direct quote from him.
Sometimes the stars.
He said everything was on the up and up.
That's a very good way for him to word it, without getting in trouble or admitting anything.
So, good
on him. Good on him.
So, let's talk about some Hurricane stuff.
Yeah, might get a little messy.
Hamilton's UFA. Is he going to be back with his team, or is he going somewhere else?
I think he 100%. He has to be back.
I think
just based on personality.
I think there's going to be a lot of people going after him. Do you think Winnipeg might go after him?
Oh, there's definitely going to be a lot of people going.
And that's what I mean.
As there should be.
Carolina has a reputation as a cheap team now. Like their owner does not want to pay money. Like we have coaching questions because you have a great coach who's loyal to that city who may not be coming back because you don't want to pay the man or pay his assistants.
I think Hamilton wants to be there. Like emotionally, genuinely wants to be in or play for the Carolina Hurricanes. So I think it's not a typical situation where there may not be as much outside influence as there were for another typical player or whatever. I think he genuinely wants to be in Carolina. So I personally see him staying.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Who knows?
I don't know how to read the situation. Some people online, not like people like us, like actual articles were saying that Boston might take a run at him. I'm like, what? Boston got rid of him. They didn't want him.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way they're going to go after him again. Like,
I don't.
No chance. 0%.
I mean,
I honestly don't know. I think a lot of people are going to take a run at him, and it's just going to matter of how much more other people are willing to spend, and if he wants to take a little bit less to stay where he is, if he likes his situation, if he likes his teammates, which he said obviously he does.
I tell you what, though, I bet you 100% there's going to be endless days of conversations about this from Toronto, about the Maple Leafs. Could they be interested in Hamilton? Even if they are not. Just the fact that that conversation is going to happen.
Well, they're already talking about whether they're moving on from Morgan Riley or not. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be talk.
Yep.
So what is Carolina going to do with their goaltending situation? Because both of their main goalies, James Reimer and Peter Mrazek, are both UFAs right now. And then Alex Nedeljkovic is an RFA.
I think that I like Reimer, but I think it's time is done.
Yep.
In Carolina, I'd like to see them sign Mrazek again. I'd definitely like to see them keep a hold out of Nedeljkovic. I really, really like him a lot.
Yep.
I would love to see him stay. So their goaltending in the playoffs is what I would hope to see next year going into next season. But who knows? And then there's Brindamore, like you said.
Yeah,
Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic.
Yeah. It's a hard one.
Potential Rookie of the Year.
Potential Rookie of the Year.
We're gonna get. Right. I have that at the end of my notes. I wanted to make sure that was him. I was pretty sure it was. We're gonna get into that, but you can't let that go.
No,
that's the one out of all of them you have to knock up first.
And he's an RFA, right?
Yeah.
So
true.
He's saying, but
the other two, I don't know. I think Reimer could be gone. I think you're right.
You think anyone would make a qualifying offer to a goalie?
An offer sheet?
Yeah, an offer sheet.
There's been talk about offer sheets for this year, and they're going to be so low because no one has money. But they're saying that potential low offer sheets could screw some teams.
Right.
Because there's so many teams that are up with the cap that even a low offer sheet they couldn't match, and because the offer is so low, the penalty for the offer sheet is not high because you're not offering very much.
Oh my God, you're right. And then there's teams that, I mean, we know the cap's not going to go up probably for another couple of years, so they have to not. They're not just planning for next year; they're planning for probably 3 years after that.
Yeah.
So I think you're dang. This is going to be an intense offseason.
I hope it is.
We're going to see some offer sheets.
There's been talk about it. This
100%.
is the perfect year for it because, like I said, the cap crunch is real. And when you're making low offers, your penalty is not high. It's like a third round pick or something.
I love it. I love it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Very
okay. And the last thing I want to talk about with Carolina right now, I wish we could have Kale on. Kale would be a good person to talk about this.
He would. He likes the Hurricanes.
He's a big fan.
Shout out to Kale. Shout out to Vesper Hockey.
Shout out to Vesper Hockey. He watches all our podcasts. He says nice things to us. Makes us feel good.
He does. Yes, and he also makes videos about his jerseys and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hey Kale, how do you like my face paint? You can let me know on Discord later. What's going on with Brindamore? Is he staying? Is he going? Is he going to Seattle? He says he wants to stay there. He also says he wants his assistant coaches taken care of. And it sounds like the owner is lowballing big time with how much he's being offered.
I think if the Carolina Hurricanes do not make Rob Brindamore happy or his assistants, and he ends up leaving or whatever, that team is going to lose a lot of trust from within the fan base.
And that's a huge point. I was watching a show, I don't remember which one it was, and they said this is your guy. Like, this is a Carolina Hurricane through and through.
He's not just a coach.
If you don't take care of this guy, who are you going to take care of? And he says that sends a message to everyone looking at potentially going into that organization.
He's like a family member, and if you don't take care of him,
but the owner has come out saying that I think that coaches and GMs are paid too much, and I'm not going to pay that.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree in a way. I guess it depends on the coach, but
it's tough because of the crunch right now in COVID.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like some of the coaches are making $4 or $5 million a year now.
He's not only such a good coach, but he has such good relationships with his players. Just pay the man.
Like it was his dad's. Did you see the video with his dad's birthday and he's in the locker room and he's like, the team's like singing happy birthday to his dad? Like,
And they all messed up on his name because they didn't know it.
Yeah, and he's just like, And I mean, the David Ayers thing.
Yes.
He had a good speech after that. Like, this is a good dude.
You need to retain him.
This is a good dude.
Someone else is going to eat him up, and they're going to have lots of success.
Yep.
So
anyway, I don't know. We'll see what Carolina does. I don't really have any. Carolina's got a good team. I don't know if they need to tweak a lot.
Not a lot.
Like,
there's not much.
Like, people have to lose. Like, no, not every team can win. And just because you don't win this year doesn't mean you can't win next year with a similar team.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like a roll of the dice almost, especially with how close some of these matchups were.
It's kind of like Winnipeg in a way. Like, there's a couple of decisions they need to make, like with Stastny. I think he's a UFA.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make a decision there. Carolina has a couple of decisions they need to make, but I don't think generally need to do a whole overhaul in the team. Like, you're not even close, really.
Yeah. I think the coaching is one of the most important decisions they're going to be making.
It's going to be an interesting team to watch in the offseason. For sure.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the Highlanders Bruins. The one time I come on here and say, I'm feeling pretty good about this series.
Yeah, they really...
should have stuck with that. I'm not feeling good about this series.
They really... like, those last 2 games, really.
Totally.
Real bad.
Yep.
Like, real bad. And...
Yep.
How do you feel about the Rask hate online?
The Rask always gets hate. It is so unjustified.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. He's hurt.
It's been going on for decades.
I know.
Or a decade, I guess.
I mean, even, what's his name? What's the guy that beat the guy at the shoe on NBC there?
Mike Milbury.
Mike Milbury. Even Mike Milbury had bad comments about Rask at the end of the season last year.
Mike Milbury has bad comments about everyone except for Mike Milbury.
Yeah, like...
He's the worst.
Like, goes back to Finland to look after his daughter. Doesn't play in the playoffs.
Which was one of the most...
She's in the hospital.
Incredible decisions.
Going back to be a dad. The team supports it, getting ragged on by the fans.
Family is more important than hockey.
And getting ragged on by the fans again. When he needs a surgery, he's going to be out 5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But he wants to play there. He
says he doesn't check social media. But
he lives here. Like, that's where his family is.
Yep.
Like,
says kids go to school here.
He doesn't want to play for anyone else.
No.
He won't play for anyone else either. I think that's what he said.
No. I have a couple other things about. Yeah, let's flip over and talk about Rask because I do have some. Okay. So he's gonna have a surgery for a torn labrum. Lots of people seem to have this. And I'll come back to that after. I had a thought.
Okay.
He needs it in his hip. He's gonna be out 5 to 6 months, and he's probably gonna have the surgery within the next month. So he's not looking at a quick return. It's gonna be January or February. But he's also UFA, so he technically does not have a team to play for next year.
He has time.
Do you think Boston's going to re-offer him a contract?
Not right away. I think they're going to wait and see how the surgery goes.
Yeah?
And see how his initial feelings are. But we're coming up on...
I'm just wondering if...
is free agency on Canada Day, by the way?
I don't know when it is.
Probably delayed it. Anyway.
I'm just worried. Well, not worried, but Swayman did okay.
Yes.
The new goalie Boston picked up.
I have a question. Where's Halak?
He's gone.
He's gone?
Yeah, he's UFA as well.
Yeah, but where is he?
He's there. He's played a little bit.
He's played well, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, not really.
Oh, I thought he played well.
He did okay, but not really.
I haven't really been paying attention to him this year.
Yeah.
So I was confused why he wasn't...
Swayman's been the new backup.
All right.
So Halak and Tuukka are both UFAs. Halak, I think, is definitely gone. It's interesting to see how they're going to play this because if they do have Tuukka and Swayman, they're going to have to protect both of them from the draft or from the Seattle expansion.
Draft. So hypothetically, Halak goes, Rask doesn't play. So you got Swayman. Who else do they have?
They have to go and get another goalie. That's in my notes. Like, are they going to go out?
Maybe Cam Talbot.
Wow, I have a lot of notes about this. I said by the time Rask is ready to return, will Swayman already have run away with the crease? Will GM Don Sweeney have already hired another goaltender?
Yeah.
And then I have Halak as a UFA. He's going to have to hire another goaltender. If he doesn't have...
Probably either way.
You can't wait until February to have a 1 and a 2.
No, you can't.
So the question is, what is the team going to be like when Rask is ready to play?
And you need to probably have a decent third-string goalie as well in case of an injury happens.
I think he might go look for a first-string goaltender right now.
I think he will. I mean,
and then is there a spot for Tuukka after that?
If he wants to play for Boston, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
And you already said it. He has no desire to play for the Bruins, but when he was asked what he would do if the Bruins did not offer him a contract, he said, we'll see when we get there. Maybe I'll go play in Finland.
I think you just said that he has no desire to play for the Bruins.
Oh, I might have said that wrong
but
then.
I understand what you meant.
He has
no desire to play for anyone else but the Bruins.
Yes, that's right. He says if he's playing in the NHL, it's only going to be for Boston.
Right.
But if he does not get a contract, he doesn't know what he's going to do yet, but he's leaving the door open to potentially going back to Finland and playing there.
I think that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, let me go back here because we're jumping all over the place
For the
here.
record, I really like Tuukka Rask.
Yeah.
As a person.
I don't
Shout
get
out
it.
to
Like,
him.
Boston fans suck too. Like, it's not the Boston. Like, I'm sorry to say this, especially J-Mark. If you ever see this J-Mark guy. Okay, so the Boston fans in Boston are super intense.
Yes.
Like, we were at a game one time and there was a guy behind me saying, like, you got to get rid of Wheeler. This guy's useless. He's literally the captain of another team right now.
Yeah.
Like, they pile on unfairly. And they do that to Tuukka a lot. Tuukka is
He's the punching boy.
Yeah.
He's the easy one to make fun, or not make fun of, but you understand. He's the easy one to be critical of.
Like, Toronto usually piles on a defenseman. This is the first year they didn't. They piled on Marner. But basically, Tuukka is our Toronto defenseman.
Yeah.
When the season's over, we blame everything on Tuukka.
It was Riley Forbidden. It was Jake Gardner.
Totally.
It was someone else too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I don't know. I find that, like, Boston fans around here, I find are pretty good.
I know a lot of
Like,
great
I think
Boston
I'm pretty
fans.
awesome.
You are awesome. I mean,
Like, I like my dad. My dad's cool. My brother-in-law's cool. The friends at the lake are cool.
I don't know if any Boston fan would look at you and think you're awesome right now, though,
I
considering
hope
what's on your face.
I hope they never see this. I keep forgetting it's on there. I hope you guys can take me seriously when you're watching this.
I can barely take you seriously. You got Taylor Hall down here too.
Yeah, I
Let's
do.
go. There's so much going on in Boston.
Okay, before we get to that, I didn't like Cassidy complaining about the refs. I wanted to put that in here. I thought it was stupid. He's sitting there complaining about the New York Saints, which apparently is continuing on. You watch. This is going to be the Don Cherry Carolina moment, where like a bunch of bunch of jerks. They're making merch about it. Now it's going to be the New York Saints bunch of merch. Just watch it. I guarantee it's going to happen.
Wow.
But I didn't like it.
It felt unnecessary.
Like,
He's not wrong.
if you don't like it, stop taking penalties. And B, where did the penalty kill go?
Yeah.
They scored 3 power play goals on you in one game. Well, game 5 or whatever? Like, come on.
Exactly.
Like, don't be mad about that. Like, be mad about the fact that your team doesn't know how to kill a penalty anymore, which is like the core of this team.
Now, the reffing is highly questionable.
I think the reffing in this series, I know we complained about people who complained about refs earlier.
Yeah.
But this series was by far the worst.
It was,
And they
exactly.
announced the linesmen and the refs moving on to the finals. I should have looked at it to see if these refs were in it. I did not. I suspect they will not be in it. I don't know. I haven't checked. But if I had to guess, I'd say when the NHL evaluates the 4 series that just played, this is probably one of the weaker ones.
Do you think he cares? Did he get fined?
No.
Financially?
No.
I don't think he cares either.
I think he tried to motivate the troops. I think that's all that was.
Yeah,
And
I
what the
agree.
worst part about it was, he was kind of tiptoeing around it to try to not get fined, it seemed like. And he got fined anyway. So you might as well just go all in. If you know you're going to get fined, just go all in.
Just go Tortorella.
Yeah, like seriously. Yeah. And then my other note I had here, just in terms of the recap, is I thought both teams had a similar chance of winning. And I said that at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think we said that a couple podcasts ago when we gave our predictions. I said it could go either way, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I honestly can't believe it didn't go 7 games. Like,
I
think
agree.
They're so closely matched up.
It's like Brad Marchand was like the only one who knew how to score a goal for Boston at the end of it there.
Yeah, in a way, really. Yeah.
Okay, Taylor Hall. So he says he's prioritizing fit with a team over money when he goes to unrestricted free agency this summer.
But he's also said he wants to play in Boston.
Yes.
So
It's
he
gonna
might be playing some mind games here a little bit.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I don't know if he'll be back or not. If he does, he's not going to make an $8 million. I know that.
Hypothetically, do you think a team like specifically Colorado would be interested in Taylor Hall? Bringing him in a team that's fairly stacked. They have got really good contracts. With like McKinnon's contract is amazing.
But they have Landeskog's contract is up, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
And he's making 5 point something. I have it written down here later. We'll get into that.
But I think Taylor Hall's at the position where he's made some money.
Yep.
And but he hasn't won. So I'm thinking that his mindset is.
So you're saying
I'll
that
take less to go to
a team that's better than
almost certainly going to win the Stanley Cup in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the Colorado Avalanche wouldn't be interesting. It's not the best fit like for the exact player that they need.
But do you think he wants to jump that many teams?
I don't think he cares at this point.
Yeah, he might
I
not.
think he just wants to win, and he knows his time is running out, and he knows that there are potential question marks in Boston.
Yeah,
as much as he likes Boston.
His quote, he's saying, "I just want to find a good home for the next few years."
Exactly. Yep. He just wants to win.
Like, who wouldn't want to live in Colorado though?
I would love to live in Colorado.
I know you would.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about real quickly about Boston's UFAs because there is a pile of them.
There is a ton.
Krejci, Dave Krejci, Taylor Hall, Sean Corrali, Mike Riley, Kevin Miller, Stephen Camphor, Jared Tenorti, and both goalies Tuukka Rask and Halak. There's going to be some changes here.
I mean,
There's no way all those people are coming back. David Krejci, if he comes back, I don't know how old he is. I think he's 35, 36.
That's a risky contract.
David Krejci is making the most money on the team right now.
He's very injury prone. He's up there in age.
He's going to have to come back for a lot less.
A lot less. And other teams could.
And we're already seeing
value
like
him, but
the core Bruins are already starting to move. Like Chara went last season.
It's already started to break.
What's his name on defense?
McAvoy.
No,
or
no.
not McAvoy. Krug.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you got that because I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I don't know. There's lots going on in Boston.
Yeah, like I said, Brandon Carlo needs to be. Brandon Carlo's an RFA.
He's an RFA, yeah.
He's currently making $2.85 million. He's probably proven that he's worth more than that now.
And you have to pay defensemen a little bit more than forwards anyway. So
and they've leaned on him.
And
I was not a Carlo fan years ago. I thought he sucked.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
And he's actually really good now. I've talked to my dad about this. Like, I'm very impressed with how improved Carlo is.
Yep.
He's definitely one of the staples back there.
But there's concussion things too with him. So
yep,
got to take that into consideration, I guess.
So we'll see where Boston goes, but
yeah,
I think I'm going to be looking at. And I thought even this year, or last year, I can't remember. There was a lot of new names, maybe mainly last year. A lot of new kids. Like Boston's really old and they're really young at the same time, and it's like you're trying to figure out which of these young guys are going to be good and which ones aren't.
Do you want DeBrusk to go? I feel he's my favorite player on the team.
DeBrusk he's either got to go or he's got to get better. He's not living up to what he was supposed to be.
He's so inconsistent.
He's unbelievably inconsistent.
Yeah. And it makes me angry because, like I said, he's my favorite player on the team.
He has not lived up to the hype of what... Like, we weren't expecting a grade A superstar to him, but we were expecting a second-line scorer, and he is not.
He reminds me of almost like Galchenyuk in a way. Lots of, like...
I think
you know the talent's there.
I think that's fair.
But it's just... You don't know what you're going to get from night to night. So.
I just remembered I have this face paint on.
I have not forgotten.
Okay, that's good.
When I look at you, I try to look you right in the eye because I can't look at anything else.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the big one. Vegas, Colorado.
Okay, going into the series, this is a series that should be the Stanley Cup final. Coming out of the series, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I feel like we had everything. We had the dynamic scoring, highlight plays. We had incredible goaltending. We had amazing rushes. We had dramatic up and down scoring where one team takes the lead and then the other team comes back. We've had overtime. Like, it is the exact series that you wanted it to be. It just didn't go 7 games.
And it's been fun to watch.
It's been so fun to watch. And the first game, okay, Leonard was in net.
You thought it was over.
I don't blame Leonard for that loss. It was like the whole team sucked that first game. I can't believe that this series ended the way it did after that first game.
I agree.
Like that is some of the most perfect hockey I've ever seen in general. Not let alone probably the second best team in the NHL in the Vegas Golden Knights and in a playoff game. I'm blown away that they weren't able to replicate that. But,
and they were up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah.
Mind you, Vegas probably should have won the second game. They ended up losing it.
They won 4 straight.
They are the 4th team to lose 4 straight goals this playoffs.
To win 4 straight games?
To lose.
Oh, the Colorado.
I'm talking about
Avalanche.
Colorado, yes. Colorado are the 4th team in this playoffs to lose 4 games in a row.
4 games in a row. Wow.
In one playoff that's only barely halfway through.
Like, I have obviously a lot of great things to say about Colorado and how incredible
I thought Colorado was winning the whole thing.
But a massive round of applause to Vegas.
100%.
For sticking with this and grinding it out and shutting those guys down, getting strong goaltending.
They were trying to say, who do you think the most flashy player is going to be in the Vegas-Montreal series? And they were like, there is no flashy player. Like, Mark Stone is good, but he's like a dump it in, grind it out kind of guy. Like, there's no finesse. Like, they said Cole Caulfield might be the...
Cole Caulfield
might be the shine.
Might be the best. He's
like,
probably,
and that's credit to Vegas because they are a hard-working, get-it-done team. Like, it's not led by superstars per se. Yeah.
You win with depth, and you win with hard work, and that's both what Vegas has.
The biggest thing I don't like about Vegas is the owner. I think he's a jerk face.
I don't mind him.
I don't like him.
I just expect, like, Vegas is so flashy. Like, everything's just so over the top in Vegas that...
And I like that. I think that's more of the marketing department in charge of that. But this owner, like,
I'm okay.
He expected them to win within the first 2 years they were in the league. It didn't happen. They fired Gerard Gallant. We talk about this every time. But that was the owner. Like,
I think if you have expectations that high...
Who do you like better, Gerard Gallant or Peter DeBoer?
Definitely Gerard Gallant.
I don't like Peter DeBoer.
I didn't like him in San Jose.
I don't like him in New Jersey. But he was in New Jersey, right?
Maybe
I'm I don't know.
I think you're thinking of that John. I forget his name.
John something. I might be thinking of someone else.
Something John. I don't know.
I do remember him in San Jose, but for some reason I thought he was in New Jersey too.
He's in Nashville now.
Okay. Anyway, I have no comments about him in Vegas because
I like
they're
him in
doing
Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm not happy that he's there.
What do you think about him finessing the refs in his post-game interview where he said, he did the opposite of what Cassidy did. He said, I'm not blaming the refs. They're out there trying to do their best, and they're trying to get through all the embellishment calls. And as soon as he made those comments, the Vegas penalties went way down.
I think he's a smart man.
Yes, he played it.
I think he's a smart man.
And Barry Trotz did the same thing. Mm-hmm. He was the complete
Also
opposite of Cassidy. Man. He got the results he wanted by just kind of putting his message out there. The refs heard it.
Yeah.
And they kind of took it into account.
Literally nothing positive comes about complaining about the refs.
Nothing.
Like, nothing. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Including us.
Okay, I forget where we were. We're still talking about the points, and we're moving on.
I don't know. I'm impressed by Vegas, and I'm obviously scared. And as a Canadiens fan, I'm scared.
Okay, so on my Vegas note, I want to talk about before we switch the page.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about that video that was online that I sent you.
Yeah, so I'm releasing a video today talking about the series actually.
Okay.
Recap, and I talked about it at the end, and I was disappointed to see all the hate online for the entire Vegas organization or fan base rather, because of what one stupid fan or
100%. You cannot blame one incident. Like there's been fights in almost every game.
I was there for almost 3 weeks in and around Vegas, and
like Spit and Chicklets put out a video yesterday. I think it was at an NBA game of a fight in the stands, and he also put this one, and there was one in Boston too that was on there. The Boston guy got thrown. He was like fighting up in the nosebloods, and he fell down a couple rows of stairs, and the guy jumped down and went after him. But in the one yesterday for the NBA, he said this guy must have been a hockey player back in his day. He grabs the guy and he's just boom, boom, boom. The guy can't do anything, and he's getting smoked in the face. And then one of his buddies comes over to help him, and the guy just stops pummeling him. The guy that he's fighting does not move. He just sits there. He's like, "You stay out of this." Boom, boom, boom. Lets the guy go, and his face is just covered in blood, and they both take off.
Dang. Yeah, it's just.
So I mean that stuff happens. It's ridiculous, but it happens like all the time.
Every fan base has those fans, and when I was there for 3 weeks, I had literally the opposite experience. Like even when I wore different teams merch, like different hat, San Jose hat, I wore San Jose hat one day. I had this hat actually. Oh no, sorry, I'm not wearing the hat. The LA hat. It's over there somewhere. The LA hat. No one said a thing to me. I had even Washington merch. They were
no one came over and tried to steal your hat.
No one did anything to me, and it was the opposite. Like had a real good conversation with a lot of people.
These two Colorado fans, they had a flag. It was dipped over the railing or something over the chair.
Yeah.
Guy comes and takes it, goes up the stairs. The big guy. I'm just gonna say the big guy. There's two guys. One was the bigger guy. He goes up the stairs after it. One of the Vegas fans, a different guy, pushes him, and then he gets hauled down to the stairs, and there's this big kerfuffle around him. It's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah. We're running low on time here.
We better hurry up then.
So we're gonna need to hurry. We might have to cut a lot of this out.
Okay. So how much time are we at right now?
We got about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Max.
Oh yeah, we're good. There's like not much left. Okay. So Nathan McKinnon's post game. I want to play that clip. I got to play that clip for you.
Okay.
We got to do it. Okay. So he gets asked some questions. This is right after the series ends. He's just like, he's obviously emotional. He just lost.
Yeah.
He gets asked a couple dumb questions like, where do you think your season wrong and all this stuff? And he's like, I'm not thinking about my season. I'm thinking about this game and the last 2 weeks in this series. I'm thinking about losing 4 straight. But then he get asked the dumbest question ever.
Nate, I know you're a gamer and all this, and I'm just thinking maybe out loud as far as in your shoes right now. It's like, all right, we've done all the thinking we can do, we've done all the game planning we can do. Maybe just it. We'll just go in next year and just not think anymore and just win this thing when we don't think so much. Am I on the right path at all with this? Like maybe you just guys think a little too much.
No.
Last one here for Nathan. Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
What?
Is that the dumbest? Is there even a question in there?
I don't even understand the question. What's the question? Any sport.
Is the reporter high? Is he liquidated? Like, is he?
You almost need to have to submit your questions prior if you're gonna get stuff like that.
Like, I know you're a gamer. Like, okay, what does that mean? And number 2, do you think you guys are just thinking too much?
You should just go in and win it. Yeah, that's that easy.
And then his reaction is just like, what is this? Like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't know. I thought that was super cringe, so I wanted to play it.
That was great.
So this is the 3rd year in a row the Avalanche have lost in the second round.
Yep.
Obviously, that's disappointing. And then Nazem Kadri served his 8th game. I don't know if do you think he would have made a difference in the series?
Yeah, he's the depth.
I think some people were saying that he wouldn't. I think he would. Nazem Kadri's a good player.
He's really important, if not the most important depth player for the team. And you've got other depth players like Don Scully and whatnot, but Kadri is really important. And I think he let the team down.
Okay, so in terms of where they go from here, and I kind of asked this earlier, do you think that, or what changes do you think need to be made, or do you think it's just unfortunate they are literally playing the second best team in the second round this year?
I think it's circumstances.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think they really need to do much at all, honestly.
Gabriel Landeskog, Brandon Saad, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Carl Soderberg, and both their goaltenders, Grubauer and Dubnyk, are UFAs. Yeah, so some decisions to make there.
Some tough decisions, especially financially.
And I think, and I said this earlier, I think Landeskog might be looking for a raise because he's currently making 5.5. And
yeah, he'll get a raise. It's probably a small one though, understandably, because the cap. I don't think Brandon Saad will be back. Bellemare will hopefully be back. I don't know about Soderberg.
Soderberg's not much anyway. So we do have series previews. We can skip those because it doesn't really matter about those. And then, holy crap, we do have some stuff here. Okay, let's go quick. PK Subban on ESPN as an analyst.
I meant to watch it. I didn't.
I did. I liked it. He's getting a lot of praise on Twitter for it.
PK Subban is an amazing person.
He is awesome. There's people saying that you are already doing better than the regular guys on here. Yeah. A lot of people are saying you need to make this your next job after you retire from the league. So he's getting a lot of love for it. Potential, heck yeah.
Potential, heck yeah.
Brad Larson, new head coach in Columbus.
Yeah.
Promoted from assistant up as the new guy to replace John Tortorella.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think he was their power play coach.
Oh, yeah.
And
the players like it because Cam Atkinson, Gus Nyquist, Elvis Merzlikins, Patrick Laine, and Jonas Corposalo all filed into the press conference ahead of him to show solidarity, support.
Awesome.
So they like it. Okay. I just want to quickly run through the NHL award finalists.
Yeah.
We'll dump this real quick. So King Clancy given to the player who exemplifies leadership. Curtis Gabriel, Pekka Rinne, PK Subban.
Understandable.
Masterton given to the player voted best to exemplify qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. That's a weird award to give. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt Dumba, Oscar Lindblom, and Patrick Marleau. I'm saying Oscar Lindblom would be my vote.
Probably based on cancer.
The Bergeron, the Selke Award will go to obviously the best defenseman. Alexander Barkov, Patrice Bergeron, Mark Stone.
Best defensive.
Oh, what'd I say?
Defenseman.
Defenseman? Yeah. The best defensive forward, sorry. I'm trying to rush because he's running out of time here.
I think Mark Stone might get this.
This is the Patrice Bergeron Award.
It literally is, but...
And then if any of these ever get renamed, that's the first one that has to be renamed.
100%.
Like, who is Selke? Who is Bergeron?
Yeah.
This guy right here. Okay, Lady Bing, get to the player to combine sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability.
I don't know why Austin Matthews is on this list.
I don't know either. I don't think Austin Matthews, Jacob Slavin.
Slavin is going to win this award. He had one penalty the entire year. It was a puck over glass penalty.
Yeah, I think.
You kidding me?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about that.
Jacob Slavin wins this.
And then Jared Spurgeon, I type with that.
Yeah.
Calder, the best rookie.
Kaprizov.
Go ahead.
Jason Robertson and Nedeljkovic.
Yep. Nedeljkovic we talked about earlier.
Nedeljkovic is the man.
Yep.
Jason Robinson, very underrated this year.
Yep.
How do you not give it to Kaprizov?
Yep. Ted Lindsay given to the most outstanding player. Crosby, Matthews, McDavid.
It's got to be Connor McDavid.
It's got to be McDavid.
It has to be McDavid. How do you not?
The Vezina, Marc-Andre Fleury, Grubauer, and Vasilevsky. I don't think it's Grubauer.
I assume it's going to be Vasilevsky.
I think so too.
He's the
Hart given to the player with most valuable to their team. McKinnon, Matthews, McDavid.
Just based on how the team would do without the person, it's got to be McDavid.
It's got to be McDavid. Both of these have to be McDavid, especially after he got shunned last year.
Absolutely.
And then the Jack Adams, best coach, Brendan Moore, Carolina, Dean Evison, tricky. Minnesota. And
this one's real tricky.
I think it's between Quenneville and Brendan Moore. I really do.
I think you're probably right, but I think that if it's based on expectations.
But this is also done by the Writers Association, so it's also based on who their buddies are too, right?
That's true.
All right, I tried to rush through that.
No, that was good. That was perfect. I got to leave at 5 is why we're kind of rushing here, and we also need to
I got to wash my face.
Some time for face washing. So thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for adding all those notes, too, at the end.
Heck yeah.
I added like a couple.
No, these are all your notes, and then I just took over.
Filled it all out, so I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, would love it if you hit the subscribe button. If you're an audio listener, like I said, come on over and watch this episode, at least for a couple of minutes on YouTube, so you can see Jason's face. And hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you real soon. Oh, by the way, I will not be here next weekend. There will not be a podcast next weekend, okay? So we'll see you in 2 weeks for the podcast. Adios.